You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
And welcome back on this Sunday Fun Day to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. We are going to be getting you caught up on the week's news stories in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Our lovely and talented host, Randall White, is right here. I get to say that now.
I know. Thank you. Hey, that was fun. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was working on something on the technical
Randall
side there.
was multitasking and he was not near his microphone.
I wasn't. But Patty, the ultimate professional, stepped in for me. I appreciate that, Patty. Did you tell everyone a good Sunday Fun Day yet?
I did. I got to say Sunday Fun Day. These are all normally the things that Randall says.
I know. We were all out to dinner the other night. Not Patty wasn't there because
No.
you work 10 jobs and
At least.
have 25 units for your master's. And what else does she do? Let's see. She's raising an army of 11. So it is
Just a few things going on.
right. One of whom is here, Dresden. Hello, and her friend Michaela. So anyway,
We were out to dinner,
and one of our favorite waitresses. What's her name, Anthony? Can you remember?
Chantel or Elise?
Elise came up to us, and I said, I saw you in downtown San Luis Obispo the other day, but I didn't want to bug you, because you were with a bunch of friends. And she goes, oh, was that on Sunday Fun Day? And I was like, I said, yes, as a matter of
catching
fact,
on.
it was. She threw out the Sunday Fun Day. I like that. So at any rate, everyone, I should say, great to have you with us. Time to talk about current trends in food, beverages, travel, and tourism. It's our goal each week to give you the tools you need to enjoy life's pleasures in a healthy, sustainable, and community-focused manner. Okay, straight ahead this hour, listen to this, Patty. We're detailing a new report that shows coffee drinkers, I have a cup in hand, may get some protection from oral cancers. Do you remember, I don't know, I guess late 80s, or somewhere in the 80s, it seemed like all the reports about coffee were negative Nellies.
Yes.
But lately, it seems like the reports
We've been hearing more about the benefits of caffeine.
Right. This is not one by the coffee industry. This is one by the American Cancer Society.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we'll speak with one of the top people with the American Cancer Society out of Atlanta coming up in just a little bit. Also, a new book tells the story of a Napa wine family, what sort of an insider's look at being one of the Valley's premier wineries, actually by some publications named one of the best wineries in the world. And it's really getting rave reviews by everyone. It's not one of these indulgent books. Hey, this is my family. This is my life. No, this is more
like a real honest look at it.
a real honest look that people say it's hard to put the book down. And I started reading it last night and have to agree.
Wow.
But
I look forward to that interview.
I had to go to bed. So, okay. And we're giving away a signed copy of this book coming up in our trivia challenge next hour. Are you up for it? Because, Patty, we're not going to be testing each other's wits this time around.
Right. We're testing a listener.
That's right. So give us a call right now if you want to win a copy of this book. 707 Trivia 8. That's as easy as it gets for a phone number, right?
I like that.
707 Trivia 8. Leave a little information about yourself. Our producer Cora will sort through the messages and call one of you back to play the game later in the show. No worries, we're not making the questions too hard.
No.
And so, but I think how we're going to do it is if you get at least half of them right, you get the book. If not, we'll roll the gift over to next week. And
Okay,
then
we'll try it again.
We'll try it again and attach it to a new, so the prize just keeps getting bigger.
Cool.
Yeah. So our travel guest this week talks about timeshares. And yes, there are deals to be found when looking at timeshares. There's scams too. You hear about them all the time.
Careful.
Right? We'll show you how to spot both.
Okay.
Then next hour, our trivia challenge. Following that, we're getting a visit from the IRS.
Oh.
Yeah. They're coming this morning after us.
Yikes. Why'd you have to bring that up?
I know, sorry. No, it's the end of the year. Time to think about all the activities
It is time.
worthy of a write-off, right?
Right.
So how about
That's
travel?
good to know.
Dining, gifts of fine wine. We are saving you money at tax time with some free advice from the source.
Okay.
He's a pretty funny guy. I talked to him on the phone. I guess you have to have that sort of personality.
To have that job, right?
To have that job. And to round out the show, we're starting a new series on helping you land your dream job for 2013, Patty. Starting with top paying restaurant positions. We're
Whoa,
speaking with one of
okay.
the leading California placement firms for top restaurants to find out which jobs and locations pay the most and how to land a sweet position for yourself. It should be a very eye-opening look at the industry.
That sounds cool.
That all is, it's going to be a great show. But right now it's time for Patty to give us a look at the headlines.
It is time. All right. This is the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk on this Sunday morning. What skeptics call Frankenfish and others call a major breakthrough in science, genetically engineered salmon is a large step closer to entering our nation's food supply. On Friday, the Food and Drug Administration ruled the rapidly growing fish is as safe to eat as any conventionally raised version. It does not pose any foreseeable dangers to the environment. The New York Times says it looks likely that this fish will eventually get approval, but that could take several months. The public has 60 days to comment on the FDA report. The Center for Food Safety says this report is extremely disappointing and is urging more rigorous reviews. Aqua Bounty Technologies, that's the company behind Aqua Advantage Salmon, says the altered animal includes a gene from the Chinook salmon, which helps it grow to market size in half the time. The owners of a Santa Barbara County organic farm are suing the local farmers market organization because they say they've been consistently shut out from the county's highest grossing events. Lompoc couple Jeff and Roxanne Hendrickson with Santa Rita Flower Farm say spots at the best markets are being saved for the association's board members, many of whom are based outside the county. According to the Santa Maria Times, the Santa Barbara Certified Farmers Market Association is quoted as saying the allegations are not valid. The group has 30 days now to legally respond to the suit filed this past week. Well, the weather is not cooperating with all those travelers trying to escape this weekend for the Christmas holiday.
The weather outside is frightful.
It is frightful. And I think TripAdvisor said that like 50% of people will go somewhere for Christmas.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow. Or at least they're planning to.
They're playing White Christmas. That's
Yes.
the song they most like.
Yes. Well, heavy rains along the California coast are turning into whiteout conditions up in the Sierra Nevada, closing Interstate 80 for several hours yesterday. A winter storm warning is in effect above 2,000 feet, with snowfall expected to increase throughout the day. And an already saturated Bay Area saw an inch or more added to rainfall totals in many cities yesterday, with more forecast for today.
A lot more today.
Yes, on the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo, where we are, saw more than 2 inches of rain Saturday. Farther south in the LA area, only trace amounts recorded. And the forecast through Christmas? After today's heavy rains, Northern California should dry out a bit on Monday with a new front moving on Tuesday coming through. Southern California will get the rain a bit longer. However, Christmas Day, sunshine is in the forecast.
And those forecasts change by the moment.
Yes.
So.
That's what the forecast says for now. And it's been saying that for about a week. We keep saying that Christmas looks clear, maybe cool, but at least clear and sunny. We'll see if that actually happens.
Let's hope, because I think a big chunk of those people that do their traveling do it solely on Christmas Day, to get to family maybe across town or across the county, wherever they may be. That's when I think the bulk of the travel happens for many of us. So, cross fingers that that it'll be okay. All right after the break, we're talking about how coffee may help you when it comes to oral cancers. And don't forget, take part in our trivia challenge, 707 Trivia 8. 707 Trivia 8. Give us a call. You can be part of our trivia challenge. Win a signed copy of a great book. 8:14 the time. We're back in just a moment. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the sixth leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Is Megan there?
Sure. Follow me. The kids are in the kitchen making sandwiches.
Hey, Julie. Hi, Megan. Hey, Megan.
Yeah?
You're a total freak. God, you're ugly. And dumb. Oh, and your makeup makes you look like a tramp. Tommy Morris told me you guys made out. Oh my God. Everybody knows. The whole school knows. He said your breath smelled like garbage. And that dress is totally hideous. You look like a big fat clown. Disgusting. Oh, and by the way, nice zit.
If you wouldn't say it in person, why say it online? Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
And a very good Sunday morning, everyone. Great to have you joining us. It is 8:19 right now. This is the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by my partner in crime for the better part of a decade, Patty Pyburn.
Good morning, everyone. So
Yes.
happy to be here on this Sunday. Almost time for Christmas.
I can't believe it's just a couple days away. This is the first year in a long time that we are not doing any traveling. We were talking about all these people
That's
traveling.
surprising, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be one of these. I think we might do a hike in the morning, and then might have a Bloody Mary.
Red and green for Christmas. Okay, I get.
Right,
I see
red
the
and
theme.
green.
I see
See,
the theme.
green hiking,
Yeah.
red, Bloody Mary, and then and really just hang out at home
And really enjoy the day.
I think we're making enchiladas.
Oh, I love that. That was a Christmassy family tradition for us growing up in Phoenix. My Phoenix family is coming to us this year, so we're not
Good.
traveling either.
Yeah.
Not to say that it will be stress-free, but they are coming to us.
Right. You had family for Thanksgiving too, Patty.
I know. I'm getting the other half for Christmas.
Holy macaroni. A lot of people traveling this time of year, most of it for pleasure. There is the business traveler, of course, that has to travel all the time. We'll talk about how you can write that off coming up in the next hour.
Cool.
But right now, this is our health and fitness segment. And most of you listening right now, I would say probably have a cup of coffee in your hand. Patty and I showing it to the camera if you're watching us online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Have one from Pete's downstairs. Well, analyst Janet Hildebrand with the American Cancer Society in Atlanta joins us to talk about a new study that came out this week. The topic, coffee consumption may reduce mortality rates from oral cancers. And for those of us that drink coffee, that sounds like a good study.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
But the question a lot of times is,
how much coffee are we talking?
How much, and does that mean if you don't drink coffee, you should start? You know, these studies always, they get most people just catch the headline.
And they don't, get all the context that comes with it.
I won't get cancer if I drink coffee, you know, is what they boil it down to. And I think Janet will be the first to say that is not the case. Welcome to the program, Janet.
Thank you very much, Randall. Nice to be here.
Yes, no, fantastic to have you. And I should tell everyone, Janet told me on the phone this week, she's done a lot of interviews, but she's never done a live radio interview. And so I said, don't worry, Janet, we'll be super nice to you on the phone.
Okay.
How's everything in Atlanta this morning?
Well, it's chilly this morning, but it's clear and sunny, so it's a beautiful day here.
Good. Do you have a cup of coffee in hand?
Well, not at the moment. I had my second cup about an hour ago. So.
That's right. You are 3 hours behind us. So, so what's the nuts and bolts of this study? How many people were looked at, and what was found?
Well, we examined the coffee drinking habits of nearly 1 million men and women in relation, as you said, to death from oral or pharynx cancer. That's mouth and throat cancer. And we found a fairly strong protective association with particularly caffeinated coffee. And to give you an example, compared with people who reported that they never drank coffee or drank it only occasionally, but not every day, people who reported drinking just 1 cup a day had a reduced risk of death from these cancers of about 25%. And then that risk continued to go down with each additional cup that was reported, and the lowest risk that we observed was about a 50% risk among people who drank 4, 5, 6 cups per day.
Wow.
And so is there any idea yet, so that's the kind of connection between the coffee and the mortality rate, but is there any thought yet as to the why, what the connection actually is, what's the cause?
Well, we don't clearly know the mechanism yet, but we do know that coffee does contain many hundreds of biologically active compounds, and it contains antioxidants, for example, and it also contains some compounds, to name a couple for your listeners if they want to Google, cafestol and kawil, caffeic acid, chlorogenic acid. These are all compounds that have been identified and studied and found to have some anti-cancer properties. But clearly a lot of research still needs to be done.
Janet, that chlorogenic acid, isn't that the one that they keep touting in the green coffee bean extract?
As a weight loss aid, right?
Right.
Oh, well, I don't know about weight loss, so I can't speak to that issue.
So what the study shows is a reduced mortality rate, meaning fewer people died from oral cancers if they were coffee drinkers. But there's no evidence from this study anyway as to whether it will keep you from getting oral cancers.
Well, let me say that we started out with a population of cancer-free adults. So these are people who, during follow-up, got the disease and died from it. But you're right in that we cannot tell from our study how much of this reduced mortality was actually due to lower risk of getting the disease and how much of it actually might be attributable to better survival after diagnosis. So that is the limitation of the study. And hopefully in the future there will be maybe some studies in survivors to answer that question.
So, Janet, that was what I was going to ask you next, is a lot of times these studies really just open the door to more examination. So do you have plans to move forward with this, to go beyond this and look a little more closely at some of these factors?
Well, we do hope to continue this work. We're currently enrolling our newest cohort, Cancer Prevention Study 3, and that is going on right now. We hope to have, by the end of 2013, 300,000 men and women for research on this topic and much, much more. This is going to provide a significant resource for cancer research for decades to come. So for your listeners who are interested in our work and interested in Cancer Prevention Study 3, please go to www.cancer.org/CPS3 and just find out more about the study, including how you can enroll, where you can enroll in your community. There are going to be enrollment events all across the country this next year. And please consider being a part of this landmark study.
Yes, Janet, I did already embed a link in our program summaries at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just go to today's program summary, and you will find the link to the enrollment page because I think it is important. The more people that enroll, the better information we get, of course. Now, I would think that the coffee companies probably jump on a study like this previous study in a heartbeat. So it makes a lot of times when studies come out like this, like we had that Sapporo beer one on how, beer.
It's good for you, and it's paid for by,
and it's paid for by Sapporo. So who finances these studies?
Well, the American Cancer Society maintains and funds the Cancer Prevention Study 2 cohort that this study came from.
I see, good.
And so this is our cohort that we follow, and it's entirely funded by us, the American Cancer Society, and our contributors, of course. But let me just say that we are not recommending that people start drinking coffee or up their intake of coffee for cancer prevention. We would just need a whole lot more scientific laboratory and clinical evidence for a protective benefit against cancer across multiple sites for such a recommendation. But this, keep in mind, this is just one of many cancer sites. And this is just a little bit of good news for those of us who enjoy coffee.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yes.
It's way too early in the game, though, and I agree. Analyst Janet Hildebrand with the American Cancer Society joining us this morning in Atlanta. Janet, you did a great job.
Well, thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
We
Thanks,
appreciate
Janet.
it. Yes, cancer.org. It's a great website. I've volunteered for the American Cancer Society. I used to for years back in Madison, Wisconsin. Enjoyed that a lot. Like I said, the link at eatdrinkexplore.com under our program summaries. All right, stick around, everyone. Up next, we will speak to the author of a new book about a family in Napa. And we're giving away a signed copy, too. Join us. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
What if it wasn't always about getting ahead? What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? What if your career goals were to change? Instead of flying off to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? To embark on a different track, to volunteer in ways you never dreamed of, in places you never imagined yourself being. Like a tiny island in the Pacific, barely visible on a map, but where needs are easy to see. Or a village on the African continent, where just a little training in HIV awareness can change the fate of thousands. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Good morning. Good Sunday fun day morning. 8:33 the time right now. On this December the 23rd, we are rapidly approaching the big day, Christmas Day, just on Tuesday. So hey, if you have some traveling to do, we wish you only the best because it is raining and messy for most of California. And if you're headed into the Sierra, you better be carrying chains. And you better check I-80 because it was
just check first before you leave for sure.
Yeah, it was shut down yesterday for several hours, and that could easily be the case again today as they're expected to get quite a bit more snow. I have never done this before, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to hit up one of our many wine regions and stay at a local winery for
change things up.
Yeah, for Christmas. People have their weddings at wineries. They do major life events there. Why not have a Christmas at a winery? That'd be kind of fun, huh?
It would be fun.
I think. I don't know. Most of them are probably closed.
Lots of Christmas cheer.
Yeah, lots of Christmas cheer for sure. Well, joining us right now on the line is Napa Valley winemaker Doug Shafer. He has a new book called A Winery in Napa, where he writes about his family's winery. It is getting rave reviews from a number of well-regarded sources, including the Wall Street Journal, the International Wine Review, and then several local publications closer to home, too. In fact, Lori Daniel with the San Jose Mercury News wrote, "Wine memoirs can be a little self-indulgent, so I approached a vineyard in Napa with some skepticism, as you might. However, the story of the Shafer family of Shafer Vineyards is funny, inspiring, and instructive." I like that. A review in the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat called the book a page-turner to love, a must-read for anyone who likes a good family story, as well as anyone interested in how the Napa Valley came to such prominence in the wine world in such a short time. Their vineyard is located in the Stag's Leap district, which is just world renowned for being it's not a very large appellation. In fact, I think it might be the smallest appellation in California, which is an appellation is just a region set aside for specific wine growing.
Right.
So you look for that on the label of a bottle. And if you see Stag's Leap on there, you know it is just
where it came from.
Yeah, a select few wineries that are within that region. And Doug's family is one of them. Welcome to the program, Doug.
Thanks, Randall. Good to be here.
Yes. And so, I was reading the first part of the book last night, and it dawned on you at some point, because sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. You are knee deep in something, and you see all of the inner goings on, the flaws, the this, the that, and it took you a moment to step outside of what you had been part of your whole life to realize that your family's winery had moved to such a well-respected place in the general public perception.
Yeah, I've been doing this 30 or 40 years, and the first 10, 12, 15 years were tough, and struggling like many other wineries or many other businesses, getting started, and we just were focused on day to day, getting it done, growing grapes, making wine, selling wine, getting out there, and all of a sudden, after about 10 or 15 years, it's like after reading a couple reviews and all of a sudden realizing, that we were, making a profit and doing well. It's like, my goodness, we've arrived.
It worked.
It worked, and
yeah.
And it was kind of a moment in time, and then all of a sudden had to get back to, going out and pruning grapevines and getting the next wine in the bottle and getting on an airplane to sell wine. So right back to the day-to-day, duties we do around here, but which keeps you focused. But you add all those up over 30 or 40 years, and if you're still in business, you should be a success.
How did you decide the format for how you wanted to tell the story? You could look at the wine industry from so many different angles. You decided to tell your family's story. What was it about your family's story that you thought would make a good read?
Well, we were kicking this idea around a little bit because my dad had written a small book a few years before I started this one, just kind of to celebrate our 25th anniversary, and kind of told some of the stories he had in moving us out from Chicago and getting started. And we had some interest from a couple different literary agents and publishing companies. And the more we kicked it around, we realized a lot of the experiences we went through here at Shafer were the exact same experiences being shared by our neighbors here in Napa. And so our story of our development and growth over these 40 years has mirrored what's happened in the Napa Valley, because when we started, the valley was a beautiful little place, but not well known in a world sense as far as quality wines. And in a very short span, 30, 40 years, our wines in Napa are among the best in the world, and it's quite a story. I think in a very short amount of time, we've become a real player in the world of top quality wines, and the Shafer experiences kind of mirrored what happened here in Napa. So that was kind of the theme of the book throughout it. Our story reflecting what's going on in the valley at large.
Well, Doug, it's funny because I haven't seen your book yet because Randall has not let go of it yet.
I'm hoarding it.
He literally couldn't put it down. But, it's funny. I've had so many visitors over the time that I've lived down here on the Central Coast. And, of course, you take them sightseeing, you take them wine tasting. And if I had $1 for every time someone, that I know has been to a winery and said, oh, it's just so romantic, I want to move here and have a winery, it just seems like this idyllic life. I'm just curious. I'm going to give him your book. I'm just curious what your response to that, because it does, when you're visiting a winery and wine tasting, it does seem so simple and idyllic and romantic and fun.
Yeah. Yes, that is the myth we have created. And sometimes we pay for it. But it's true. You visit a winery, it's a beautiful, it's out in the country, it's agricultural, it's beautiful, the weather's great. And, of course, with visitors, we try to be good hosts and show them a nice time and have some wine and chit-chat, and everything's relaxed and mellow. Behind the scenes, it's work.
Yeah.
It's a production facility. Sometimes we're up at 5:30 in the morning, getting guys going in the Vineyard. We got the bottling line to sterilize. We're up at 5. harvest, we're working 5:30 in the morning to 11 or 12 at night every day, 6-7 days a week for 7 weeks. There's red-eye flights back to wine tastings in New York or to London or Tokyo. Winemaker dinners. Trudging through the snow in Chicago with a bag of wine to go meet the wine buyer at some restaurant.
The winemaker dinners I'm not too sad about for you. But it's an ag life, though. You have to deal with the weather. You have to deal with bugs.
You got Mother Nature. It's a Christmas holiday, and it's raining like guns and roses, and it's like someone's got to be here to make sure the flood or the creeks, if they overflow, don't flood the wrong vineyard or this type of thing. There's a lot of things behind the scenes people do not see and have no idea about. There's no reason they would unless they were here living it. But a lot of folks, I think, have come out to different areas or different wine countries thinking, I'll buy a little vineyard and set up a winery and have a nice, idyllic life. And it's hard work.
That was your dad. That was your dad's thought, though, right? When he moved the family out to the Napa Valley during the midlife crisis.
Did he know what he was getting himself into?
No, I don't think so. It's funny in writing the book. I talked to him. I kind of questioned him more than I ever had. Kind of what his mind, where his head was at when we made the move out here in from Chicago. And, I found out that he had really always loved working outdoors, and a love of his was to be out and being on a farm situation. And this is from suburban Chicago, and I had never known that. And so that move was part of that. And I remember, I grew up in Chicago, seeing him catch the train down to Chicago, 3-piece suit, day in and day out, doing the office thing. And all of a sudden, I'm driving up the driveway out here from high school. At the afternoon, he's out on the tractor with a straw hat and jeans, and the biggest grin on his face you'd ever seen. He was a happy guy. He loved it. So,
hey, Doug, did you see the movie Bottle Shock?
I did.
And what did you think? How accurate?
Oh, I don't know, because I wasn't around at that time. As far as knowing the players. I think it was pretty accurate. I think they did a pretty good job on that one.
Sort of give a sense of the because that was in the not long after your dad bought that property. Some of the wine that won over in France was from the Stag's Leap district, wasn't it?
Right. Yes. Stag's Leap Wine Cellars had a Cabernet. I think it was their 73 vintage that won, and Chateau Montelena up north in Calistoga had a Chardonnay that won. But I think that movie depicted well that how rural and kind of a not backward, but kind of backwater type of place the Napa Valley was then.
Right.
There were no restaurants, no fancy hotels, no la-di-da mansions in the hills. It was just a farming community. There were grapes, there were walnuts, orchards, prunes, all sorts of things. And it was not a... the wine scene was not a big, high-end quality deal at that point in time.
Well, if you want to get Doug's insider look at this, and you want to get it for free, and a signed copy nonetheless, which I thank you so much for doing, Doug, you can play part in our trivia contest, which is coming up in the next hour here, but you want to call right now, 707-TRIVIA-8. It's a very easy number to remember, 707-TRIVIA-8. The phone will ring several times, and then you'll just leave a quick message. Our producer, Cora, will pick one of those messages and call you back, and we have 6 trivia questions for you to answer. They're very easy. Don't worry about it, but it should be a lot of fun, and you can get a signed copy of Doug's book that way, 707-TRIVIA-8. Doug Shafer, author of the book A Winery in Napa, about Shafer Vineyards there in the Stag's Leap district. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning, and I look forward to finishing the book.
Thanks, Randall. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so, I grew up just outside the Napa Valley, and we had a lot of family in Napa. And so, in fact, my orthodontist was in Napa. So I had to drive to Napa about once a month to get the tightening.
You've seen Napa over the last 4-ish decades, too.
Yeah, thank you, Patty. And, and yes, no, I have. And I have seen it change from what he was. I have a little bit of insight into what he was talking about.
How it's evolved.
There. Yeah. Stick around, everyone. We are talking about, timeshares. I had to think about it. Coming up next, stick around. 8:45 the time. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
Good morning, everyone. Great to have you joining us. 8:49 now the time. And I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely, talented Patty Pyburn.
Good morning, everyone.
As you know, Patty, it's time to hear insight from the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel. And this week, we welcome a former and, I guess you could say, current colleague, good friend of mine, Mark Silverman, to the program to teach us the ins and outs of timeshares.
Okay.
Nice to have you on the program, Mark.
Thank you, Randall. Good morning, Patty.
Good morning.
Of all of the years that we've worked together or have been on the same radio stations, we've never been together on the air.
That would be true. Well, that's because we filled in for each other so often.
Mark and I first met at KGO Radio in San Francisco. We were producing a number of different talk shows there. Mark went on to produce the Ron Owens Show, a long-standing #1 show up there in the Bay Area, and has its own show on timeshares, has had columns in the Bay Area papers, really knows just about everything you could possibly know about timeshares. So I started thinking about it a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, why haven't I had Mark on the show to talk about that during our travel segment?
Yeah, I think this is a great topic.
Patty, being in the news, how often it seeps into the news that there's some sort of timeshare scam.
Right.
Which gives a black eye to all the valid and good timeshares out there.
The other thing, too, is it makes me think of the people who try to almost kind of trick you into going to a timeshare seminar. They don't want to tell you what it's about. Just come. You'll love it. It'll be great.
Right.
You're like, what am I getting myself into?
10 free days in Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly.
9 of those days I'm sitting in under the glaring light of a salesperson. Now, Mark, how true is our perception of timeshares?
The perception is definitely accurate. Is it a true reflection? I would say not. Most of the scams, the outright rip-offs, consumer abuse, frankly, comes on the secondary market. Not when you buy timeshare, but when you go to try to resell it. Oh. And the secondary market is so weak. There are a whole group of parasites that prey on those desperate to sell and extract large fees and deliver nothing. So that's really where the fraud is.
Who are the big players? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say what Patty describes, at least in terms of the sales presentation, that I would put that in the classification of puffery. And most people who know they're going for the free trip to Tahoe or to win the trip to Hawaii also know they're going to sit through a couple hours of a sales presentation.
Exactly.
Right. Who are the big players when it comes to timeshare? I'm a Hilton Honors and a Marriott Rewards member, and I get emails from both of their properties all the time telling me to come to Hawaii, that I can, the Hilton, I know, for one, has offered me some pretty good deals. I just couldn't get the time off at the time.
To take them up on it.
Right. Are they the two big ones?
Hilton, Marriott, Disney is probably... Marriott is definitely the biggest. A company that started out as timeshare or recreational real estate, but was timeshare only as opposed to hospitality. It was called Fairfield Resort. Now it's Wyndham.
Okay.
They're timeshare specific, and they're probably larger in terms of owner base than Marriott, but Marriott, Disney, and Hilton and Hyatt are probably the biggest of the hospitality brands, and of course Sheraton, Starwood.
Oh. So all the big hotel players also have their own timeshare market, which I imagine run as a separate company under the big umbrella.
To one degree or another, yes. Marriott specifically spun theirs off into a separate company. Disney, it's part and parcel. Starwood, it's part and parcel. Hilton and Hyatt are just divisions of.
I see.
And it was Marriott's entry back in 1984 that probably led the way for what they call the flags, the hotel brands to enter the market, and have completely changed at least the credibility side of the industry, and frankly also to a large extent softened up the sales process, the developer sales process.
Well, Mark, I have to say my mom has been involved in a timeshare with a group of her girlfriends. They're all in their late 60s, early 70s, and it's all in the Southwest, so they're reasonable places she can get to. And since it's such a large group, she really has had nothing but great things to say about it. They go to Albuquerque, Sedona, some places in northern Arizona, and she's really enjoyed it quite a bit over the years.
The satisfaction rate among owners generally surveys at between 80 and 90%.
Wow.
Once you're in. And I've always said it is a great product sold in a horrible fashion.
Well, that's interesting.
And by the way, your mother's experience or usage is pretty typical. It's dominated by what they call the drive-to market. People get resorts for travel 3.5 hours from home.
What happens? Where do people? Where does the non-satisfaction come in? Is it from people that just don't have time to take advantage?
Right. They have it, but they can't use it.
Right. So they're constantly like telling friends, "Oh, I have this timeshare points. You can go ahead and use it because I'm not going to be able to get to it." I know our audio guy Anthony has talked about some friends of yours, right, that are always trying to unload the timeshare stuff. Is that where the dissatisfaction typically comes in?
The dissatisfaction comes in because they can't use it the way they left the sales presentation thinking they could,
Right.
and in large part it's user error, and that's not fair to say. In large part it's because there's not enough follow-through to show you how to use it. When you say, I want to go to Hawaii, and you call your exchange company, they say, that's not available. What they're saying is, it's not available now for what you are trading, but they don't always go into the best ways to make it available. And it will be available if you work the system correctly, but the owner hangs up and saying, well, I wanted Hawaii and I couldn't get it, and they don't try any of the other methods.
Oh, so what are some of the other methods?
We want to hear your advice to get over some of that dissatisfaction.
Well, some are conventional. Some are, first of all, if you're buying the wrong thing. In other words, if you're buying a one-bedroom in Indianapolis during the worst time of year, you're not going to be able to trade for a two-bedroom in Hawaii during Christmas. That just goes without saying. You have to be trading like for like.
I didn't know you had to trade things. I thought you just got you got 2 weeks a year and you got to pick wherever you wanted to go. What's the trading?
You own a particular resort generally, and now you a size, a season, and a location. You own a resort. I own a resort in Southern California, and I get to go into the exchange bank and withdraw something else if I don't want to use mine.
I get it. Okay. Mark, we have to leave it there. People can get a lot more information on your website, though, and listen to your show as well. What's your website?
TalkingTimeshare.com, Randall.
TalkingTimeshare.com. We have a link to it at etrickexplore.com under the program summaries. Mark Silverman.
Thanks, Randall. Thanks, Patty.
Yeah, thank you so much for
good
joining
information.
Us. It is good information, and maybe one of these days.
You will be a timeshare owner, Randall.
I'll be a timeshare owner. Stick around, everyone. We have our trivia segment coming up in the next hour. You can play part, win a signed copy of a great book. 707-TRIVIA-8. 707-TRIVIA-8 is the number to call to be part of our game coming up in just minutes. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn. Back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Joined by the ever so talented Patty Pyburn.
Good morning, everyone.
Patty, what time do you have to get up in the morning? Is that the number one question you get from...
I hear that question so often when people hear I'm on the morning show at KCOY, and then they, oh my gosh, what time do you have to get up? Right now I'm getting up about 1:30, depending on how many times I hit the snooze.
So today's sleeping in.
Way sleeping in. By like 5 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I used to do morning shows, morning television news, which I did for almost 20 years, I would, if I ran into people in the grocery store or Costco or, wherever you might be, that was the number one question.
Yes.
The second question that I would always get, even though I rarely did weather, is they would like throw out the forecast. Supposed to rain, huh? And I'm like, the funny thing is on a 2-hour morning show, you might hear the forecast, maybe 10 times
10,
or
12
more?
times easily.
10 or 12 times.
But how many times did you actually listen to it?
Almost none, almost never, because
That's your time to be preparing for your next segment.
Right. So people think that as anchors, we're sitting there staring lovingly at the weather person the entire time, listening to every single word that they're distributing.
Yes.
But no, the case is that you're frantically writing scripts, rearranging things that
are coming up. And sometimes you look at the weather person when they toss it back to you, and you look at them blankly and you think,
like, you're done?
Okay, yeah, that's great. You don't know for sure if the forecast was great, but you're like, great, thank you.
And sometimes you don't even know what they said back to you, if you're that busy.
Yeah.
So sort of funny. Those were always the top two. A sort of a weather-related question.
The forecast, and what time do you get up in the morning?
What time do you get up? Yes. And the other one is, do you write all your own stuff?
Yeah, so that's
one.
a common one.
Uh-huh. In the case of Eat, Drink, Explore, yes, I do write all my own stuff.
Every word of it.
Every single word of it. Great to have you with us, everyone. 9:02 the time. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio exclusively here on Crush 92.5 at this time of the show anyway, is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Open daily, and that would include today, from 10 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. Patty, when you hear complimentary, what do you think?
I think amazing, because you don't hear that very often.
No, you don't.
In fact, thank you.
In the last show, we had Doug Shafer on from Shafer Vineyards up in Napa. I can guarantee you that you might get a complimentary glass of wine when you walk in the door at some of the, not glass, but taste of wine.
It doesn't last long.
No, and then you have to pay for the
tasting
from there on out.
Yes, I just passed by Eberly too. We were up in that area, and it's just a beautiful part of Paso Robles,
isn't it?
Yeah,
right, and it's so easy to get to, right off 46 East in Paso Robles. You can't miss it on your If you're leaving Paso and headed east toward the valley, you see it on the left-hand side. You can learn more information about the fine folks at Eberly by logging on to their website. It is EBERLE. That's EberlyWinery.com. Very easy.
Yes.
Just give them a ring and say, hey, we have a few days off because of Christmas, and we're thinking about swinging by. I don't know if they're open on Christmas Day. You'd have to call. Probably not. I imagine most aren't, but who knows? Give them a ring. Find out.
Doesn't hurt to try.
It doesn't hurt to try. Okay, coming up here in the next hour, we have our trivia segment, and we highly encourage you to call. It's an out of area code, but here's the deal: who doesn't, on a Sunday specifically, who doesn't have unlimited?
Right.
Either minutes or what, if you're calling from your landline, I don't think it matters anymore. 707, that's an easy thing to remember. 707, which is Napa, Sonoma, North Bay.
Right.
707 Trivia 8. That's it.
707 Trivia 8.
Yeah, so if you just call 707 Trivia 8, we'll put you in the lineup for our trivia contest.
And what a great book. You said you couldn't put it down.
It's really good.
I haven't seen it yet because he couldn't put it down.
It's called A Winery in Napa, and written by Doug Shafer there. And he'll autograph it to you. And then they pop it in the mail, and you've got a new book to read.
Awesome.
Why not play? 707 Trivia 8 is the number to call. Leave a message. We'll call you back on that one. And we're up in just a moment. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Good Sunday fun day morning, as we like to say here at Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Glad you can join us for the show today. I am your host, Randall White. And we are coming to you live this morning from California's Central Coast, where we had some really heavy overnight rainfall.
Lots of rain. So far this morning, we haven't seen any yet, but
overcast skies, though.
It's in the forecast.
Hopefully it'll clear up for everyone's Christmas so that the roads can be nice and clear. But if you're headed up to the Sierra, be careful.
And check those road conditions ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Make sure you do that. So here's the dealio. I was telling everyone to call this new Fancy Pants trivia number that we have.
Right.
707 Trivia 8, which I will get worked out. But I didn't think about...
You did not think it through all the way.
I didn't, because this is the first week we're doing it. And so what my intention was to screen the different callers.
Right.
And then, pick one that's energetic and bubbly and all that kind of stuff. And then call them back and then,
and play trivia with them.
What I didn't realize is that I have no way for our producer, Cora, to
access those messages.
So what we have to do is we sort of have to clear the board, and we'll just take the first caller. Cora can pick up the phone directly.
If someone just calls in directly.
And just call in directly. So the number to do that is 707 Trivia 8. Very easy number to call, 707 Trivia 8. You don't have to leave a message. You don't have to do anything. We'll put you through... instantly, after Cora answers the phone and get your name and that sort of thing.
And then we can play trivia. So
707 Trivia 8.
And for all those people who called, we apologize, and please call back now. We hope that they're still listening.
I know, because I felt bad that there's just no way for Cora to access that bank of messages. I don't know what I was thinking. There's too many things to think about during the week to get all of this in order. So that's how it works. Patty, are you done with all of your shopping? I was at the mall yesterday because if you watch us online at eatdrinkexplore.com, you may notice from time to time that when we're talking, our video simulcast doesn't match up with our lips. And so that can be disconcerting.
You are troubleshooting that issue.
Right. So I was trying to troubleshoot that issue, and it had me going to an electronics store at the mall several times yesterday.
Yikes.
Let me tell you, that is no fun.
Well, I would just like to say that all stores I've been to in the past week have been no fun.
No.
Not that the people aren't fun. It's just there's so many of them.
Yeah.
The lines are long, the parking lots are full, and... So, Randall, I'm done. I have a couple of items to pick up at Trader Joe's, and I'm done. And I honestly, have I ever said this to you in the past, 6-8 years? Have I ever said to you at this point that I was done?
No.
So
I have to hand it to you. That's awesome.
So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yes. You should be proud of yourself because you don't want to be there right now. Let me tell you, no one was letting me in. It was one of those things where I was trying to... I needed to get from the parking lot to another area of the parking lot.
And nobody would let you through into the flow of traffic?
No. And it was pouring down rain.
You're like, please.
I finally gave up and went to Chipotle and ordered a couple of big burritos, brought one home for Ricardo, and I said, that's it. And I took the bus back into work. I wasn't getting back in the car.
You're like, forget it. So, Randall, you know our friend at Costco in the produce section who...
Yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, I love him, and he always helps us find, the freshest, nice produce that they have there in the very cold refrigerator section. So, I walked into Costco the other day, and he just shook his head, and he looked at me, and he said, Patty, what are you doing here? You should know better. Like, this is too busy of a of a day to come to Costco.
Right.
And I was kind of thinking to myself, why are they doing samples on Friday afternoon?
Oh, because that backs up entire areas of the store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone was clustering around the sample people. And people like me who are in a rush to get that last minute stuff on Friday before Christmas, I couldn't make any progress. I was so frustrated.
I imagine not. Right.
Yeah.
And so...
So, anyways, but there were a lot of people enjoying the samples.
Keep going.
Do we
Patty,
do we have a potential trivia player on the line?
I think so. Maybe Cora just needs to type in the name in the...
So we know who it is.
Sandy. Okay, Sandra or Sandy? Jones. Sandra Jones. Okay, so...
we have a trivia player. Woohoo!
Sandra, where are you calling from?
From Roanoke Park, California.
Well, hello, Sandy. You're in that 707 area code. And so here's the deal. You just have to get 3 out of 6 right. If you do, you win a signed copy of the book.
No pressure, Sandy.
Woo-hoo.
Did you hear the interview? Do you know what book you're playing for?
No, I was watching your show, and then my computer froze up, so...
Okay, well, here's the deal. You are playing for a winery in Napa, and it is written by Doug Shafer of Shafer Vineyards in the Napa Valley. It's a very good book. It's getting rave reviews right now. It just came out last month, I believe.
Oh, cool.
And so here are the questions. We'll start. Patty, go ahead. You can start with number 1.
Question number 1, Sandy. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so yesterday, people all around the world woke up, went to work, went shopping, cleaned their house, and did other everyday activities. The world did not, as predicted, come to an end according to the Mayan what?
Calendar.
Yay!
Yes!
Woo!
I didn't even have to play the music all that long. She got it. Okay, you got it.
Okay, these are tough, but try to do your best.
Did that surprise you, Sandy, that we didn't come to an end?
No, I was devastated. I was waiting for it, man.
Okay. Okay. I saw somebody tweet out, this is the most disappointing apocalypse ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Move over NORAD. I don't know if you've heard of NORAD, but those are the fine folks with the government that track Santa every year.
Yeah.
There will be a new source for parents, children, and the occasional fill-in weather personality to track Santa this year online. Which Silicon Valley tech firm is stepping up with an old St. Nick GPS of its own?
Oh, crap.
You're going to get the buzzer soon.
I have no idea.
Now, what's the biggest Silicon Valley firm you can think of?
I have no idea.
Starts
that's okay.
with a G.
Starts with a G, and you probably do it on a daily basis.
Google.
Yay!
That's right. Google has a new, in fact, many people are saying it looks super cool. And of course, Google's got the resources to do it. You know, the government's just kind of, it's like a little side project for them. But they did start it back in 1955, the NORAD people, because Sears had a Santa line that they misprinted in the newspaper, and it went to this guy that worked for the government, and he decided...
And so he's like, he'd play along. Oh,
isn't that
how
funny
fun.
how that all started out?
That's weird.
I know. Okay, so you're 1 for 2. Let's go ahead with number 3.
Question number 3. This past week, a team of international scientists, including one from the University of California, Santa Cruz, discovered what orbiting around a nearby star just 12 light years from Earth. What did they see?
Oh, my goodness. An alien.
Well, aliens might live on this.
A new planet.
Yes, an inhabitable planet. We'll give it to you.
Okay.
Actually, she did get Google after we gave her some.
She did a little help, but she got it.
Yeah, so you're actually 3 for 3. You've already won the book. Twitter. No, wait, let's see here. Well, because we only have less than a minute left, so I'm going to say the FDA moved forward with approval for a genetically modified animal that could enter the U.S. food supply next year. You could soon see what on your plate?
Steak.
No, but there was a story about how they could make meat like that. A squirrel, did you say? No, no, it's salmon, genetically modified salmon. But you didn't have to get that question to win. You got 3 correct, Sandy.
Yay!
A copy
Sandy gets the book.
Yes, A Winery in Napa by Doug Shafer is yours.
Yay!
Sandy Jones, Sandra Jones. I apologize. Thanks for playing our game. And
thank you.
Merry Christmas, Sandy.
Yes.
You too. Happy holidays.
Stay on the phone line. We'll get your info back in a moment.
Okay.
Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
I don't recycle. I mean, we can just find another planet for your kids to live on, you know?
Noted non-recycler Tommy Crenshaw talks about the future.
Oh, I can totally see finding another planet that can support life when ours fills up with trash.
Log on to yougottabekidding.org and learn about all the ways you can recycle, unless you're into lame excuses like Tommy's.
Hey, recycling's just not my thing. Starting over on a new planet? Now that's exciting.
Don't be that guy, unless you want people looking at you funny. Log on to yougottabekidding.org.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Good morning, everyone. It is now 9:19 the time. Congratulations again to Sandra Jones from Rohnert Park, California. Right
she was a
outside
good sport.
Santa Rosa. She was a good sport.
Yeah.
We had to give her a few clues, but that doesn't matter.
It's okay.
You won a book.
It's Christmas.
A good book, exactly. It's Christmas time, so she has another present coming in the mail. Okay, so a lot of us travel, dine, maybe go see a play, give bottles of wine to clients of ours, whatever it might be. And in many cases, those very things are eligible for write-offs when you do your taxes next year. All depends on how you do it, what you're doing, what percentage you want to write off, all that sort of thing. But just because you might have enjoyed whatever it was you were doing, it might still be work related,
right?
In which case you can get a little extra money back with your tax return, or make the sting a little bit worse if you're paying. And so, it all depends on, how much you take out each check, that sort of thing. So we thought, since those are all Eat, Drink, Explore related,
right?
Why not have a representative from the IRS on to talk about this so that people can get a good idea?
The true expert.
The true expert. Rafael Tolino is with the IRS down in San Diego and joins us on the line right now to talk about some of these write-offs people may shy away from taking because they probably think, well, I was out to dinner. I can't possibly write that off,
right.
So welcome to the program, Rafael.
Hi, Randall. Thanks for calling me an expert. I'm not half expert, but...
I was telling everyone earlier that you were a joy to talk to on the phone, and I said, I guess in a position like yours, you sort of have to be in a good mood all the time because, for the most part, people find out you work for the IRS, and what's their first reaction?
Oh, man, it ranges. I've got, I've been doing this for a long time, and you get the whole gamut of emotions. People looking at you with a blank face, immediately think you're from another planet.
Or they run away.
Others will just kind of immediately probably not think you're a good person, that kind of thing. But
or they switch up their name, like you can tell they're lying. That's not my name, and I don't live in this house behind me.
You certainly develop your own Rolodex of good humor and to make it more fun. But certainly it's not the norm profession when you're a public affairs person or communications guy for the Internal Revenue Service, but I'm very fortunate to have my job.
Well, you're all over the news down in San Diego, so anyone that might be watching us online in that area has probably seen a clip of you. I imagine you're in high demand come April when news organizations want some last-minute tax tips for people, but we thought since it's the end of the year and people might be compiling their stuff right now and they have a fresh memory of some of the things that they did over the past year, that now would be a good time to talk with you. And the IRS has a publication directly related to everything that our show talks about. It's publication 463. What do people find there in Pub 463?
It's the travel expense pub, and basically what this information gives you is exactly what you were mentioning in terms of travel, entertainment, gift, and car expenses, and what you can put on a tax return, and all the different rules involved in terms of being able to deduct these expenses, assuming they are ordinary and necessary in carrying on your trade or business. And those two buzzwords, of course, a lot of folks who may be involved in taxes or doing taxes and that kind of thing understand what those words are in terms of how they work with your business, and that also is determined by what is your facts and circumstances around what you do for a living, and then how you can apply the rules and the expenses and how they fit on your form and where they go and all these different kinds of things depending on what you're doing in order to use them to legitimately reduce your tax bill, which you should do. I mean, you shouldn't pay any more tax than you owe, no more, no less. And by all means, if you're able to take advantage of these expenses and deduct them, then by all means you should do so. And just real quick on IRS publication 463, that's 463. You can go to irs.gov and download it and read it. And there's a HTML version, there's the PDF version, and it's very useful. And it's not the only resource that discusses it. It's just kind of the main one. The main one where you want to get that information.
So if you're having your taxes done by a professional, do you just count on them to understand this and sort of initiate the write-offs, or do you have to say to them, hey, I have this, this, and this, and sort of alert them to what you might write off, or do you rely on them to guide you?
I would say, well, there's two answers there. One, most tax professionals know their clients, and either you get some kind of questionnaire or a letter from them at some point, let's say in January or February, and then in there are the changes and things that involved you. But if you're running a business and the such, and you've got a bookkeeper or you're using software and doing it yourself, chances are you're up to speed, and they know how you run your business, and they understand the rules that apply and can put two and two together to hopefully benefit you as best possible based on what you're doing and what the law says you can do in order to deduct, expenses and such. So it's a relationship you have with the tax professional. And certainly if you're self-employed, perhaps you're doing it yourself, and if that's the case, the software will hold your hand all the way through when you file returns. Your software is so, what's the word I'm looking at, so convenient and so easy, as long as you have the information in front of you and follow along when you actually do the return. When it comes to tax planning, of course, a lot of folks go throughout the year and do that, and that's where chances are your tax professional understands your business, understands you, knows you, and knows how to put two and two together to make it work for you. So, one other thing about that is about 3 out of 5 of all individual returns, about 60%, that number's been steady for the last several years, of all returns are done by tax professionals. So, in other words, you and me, we do it ourselves, but not nearly as much as you and me going to a tax professional and having them prepare the return.
Right.
And the other thing is on that, the key, no matter who prepares a tax return, no matter what is on it, you're the one responsible for what's on it once you sign it. So
I hate that aspect
right.
of it.
It comes back to us.
All right, I have a question. I'm horrible at keeping receipts. I can't keep a receipt to save my life, and even when I know it's an important receipt, I'm putting this in a special place, and then I can't find it.
You don't remember that
place.
So
I know that if you're doing a ton of travel, and you're at this restaurant and that restaurant and this hotel, blah blah blah. You don't necessarily have to save all those receipts. You can take sort of the IRS
like
sort
a
of
ballpark.
Yeah, the IRS figures most people can eat for this amount. They can stay at a hotel in this part of the country for this amount.
So there are some generalizations.
There's a generalization, and if you just take that as sort of a blanket, that's a little easier, right?
I would refute that in that I think we'd rather make sure the IRS would be to have the actual receipts and expenses, because it depends on where you're going and what you're doing, but it could be disallowed if you don't have something accurate. It depends on where it is, what it is, and what you're doing, but you definitely want to have good records. You want to have your record keeping. You want to have some sort of of way to substantiate certain elements of expense. And so I would say you can keep proof in a book, a diary, a log, a statement, a record of some sort, but somehow you should cull it together so it has the proof that you need in order to substantiate what goes on the return.
That's why I put everything on a card.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I don't want to say to verify what you're saying is, no problem. You can be, we'll just throw it on there. But do try to get as accurate as possible. That way you can be sure when you're putting information down there, you're getting a legitimate deduction for what you have, and that way the IRS doesn't come back to you and saying, this doesn't seem right. Based on this, you put that. Then you could say, well, no, I have my receipt, and that way you have
and then you've got it.
In mind.
Raphael, we have less than a minute left. I just need to quickly know it's Christmas time. A lot of businesses give like wine and stuff like that. A portion of that is write-offable?
Yeah, there are gift expenses that are write-offable. They are kind of de minimis in terms of what that number is, but certainly you can. It's $25, I believe, is the amount that you can actually use for a gift in terms of what goes on the return. And if you're looking to do that, and there's other expenses as well. But certainly that information is in detail in either publication 1717 or 463, but the IRS.gov. But whatever you can do to get hold of that information, I hope you find it.
Raphael Tolino with the IRS down in San Diego, joining us with some of the write-offs that might affect listeners to this show. We certainly appreciate it, and links to the publications he talked about are available at eatdrinkexplore.com under the program summaries. All right, you ready for a new job, Patty? Maybe at one of California's top restaurants? That's coming up next.
Okay.
Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
McGruff here.
The crime dog?
Yep.
I think I'm gonna need your help. I've got an internet bully.
Okay, well, what you do is...
Maybe you could put a virus on her computer. Or a tracking device. Or a bug.
You don't have to do that, all you...
Or maybe we could get an attack dog. You ever see those attack dogs that can, rip a person's arm off? Seriously. Or like a SWAT team. A cyber SWAT team or something. Or like an army. Did you ever see that zombie army movie? We should get a zombie army.
Wait. All you need to do to stop an internet bully is delete their messages and never forward them on.
So, no zombies?
No zombies.
Bummer.
Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.npca.org.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen, high blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Joined by the even more fabulous Patty Pyburn. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning on this Sunday as we're heading into the big Christmas holiday.
That's right, 9:33 the time. Sunday fun day, as we like to call it. Might not be fun for some of you that still have a ton of shopping left to do.
A little stressful.
That's just never a good time. I don't know. There's people that like it. I am not among that group.
The last minute rush.
Yeah, But I'm always a part of that last minute.
I usually am. I'm very happy with myself that I have a few grocery store items to pick up at Trader Joe's today, and I am done. I
have a nightmarish Costco trip in front of me today.
I'm sorry. I hope they're not doing samples at the same time like when I was there Friday.
I know. There's just no way around it for me today. We have to go there.
You have to get it done.
There are some essentials at the house that are missing, and gotta get them.
Gotta do it.
I guess we could get some short-term ones at the market down the street, and then just make it through past Christmas.
Yeah, but it's hard when if you get
deal.
The Costco item,
Yeah.
you're getting the deal, you're saving yourself some money.
And there's some versions that you just really like.
Yes.
There's certain, the frozen fruit I like a lot. So, and I'm out of that for my oatmeal in the morning. Not that everyone needs to know those details, but at any rate, everyone, great to have you with us. And we are getting near the end of the year. This is a time of year when people start to consider change, New Year's resolutions, change for the better. How will I better myself in 2013?
Right.
And in some cases, that might mean trying to move up the ladder where you work, or perhaps even changing jobs.
Could be a career change. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get that job that I always thought that I wanted to do.
All right, or a raise. And this is the this is the first in several guests that we have coming up over the next month. I would say about the next month, where we will talk to people in different industries related to eating, drinking, exploring,
right?
And how you can land a job in one of those industries. If you're listening to this show and you enjoy it, then you probably like this sort of thing, and perhaps you want to make that your career. Well, our first guest has to do with the eating portion,
okay?
Which
we like that portion,
which is dining out, restaurants, and I worked in the restaurant industry for a really long time, and have to say that you can make some very good money in the restaurant industry.
That's what I hear.
If you're
tips can be good if you're good at your job.
Exactly, and if you're a really good chef or a manager, and we've seen some really great signs when it comes to the economy lately, here in California especially. And when people are employed and making more money, they tend to eat out more. And therefore, those different companies, those restaurants can pay you more, and they're expanding their staff. So now might be a good time. Cindy Race with Foley & Fitzgerald, a placement company that finds the best of the best for the state's top restaurants, is joining us. It's probably no surprise that Foley & Fitzgerald is based in the Bay Area, possibly the nation's #1 location for fine dining. Cindy, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
I never realized after all of my years of being in the restaurant industry that there were businesses out there that helped place people. I just always thought it was you pick
you're on your own.
You're on your own. You pick a restaurant, you go, or for that matter, if you're running a restaurant, that instead of getting a huge pile of resumes coming through the door, you just call up a company like Foley & Fitzgerald and say, we need a sous chef, find us the best. Is that how it works?
Pretty much, yes.
And so let's say we're looking for a job side of things. How does somebody in the restaurant industry that wants to work for a better place or get some level of advancement, do they need to contact you?
Typically, people are referred to us by colleagues in the industry. Our company is 17 years old now, and we've worked with a number of people in the industry. And so typically we're referred by others who have been pleased with our services. We are found online when you look for us, a recruiter. We pop up pretty quickly, so people do find us through the web.
Yeah, I typed in top restaurant jobs, and you were one of the first couple of sites at the top there.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
So, Cindy, do you mostly serve people who are looking, or do you serve more of the employer side of things, or is it kind of split?
Well, I wish that I could say that we had as many people hiring us to find them employees as we have candidates looking for work, but truly it's probably more like 8 to 1.
Okay.
We have many candidates that are looking to improve their, careers. But that's kind of how it is in the placement industry.
Especially in the job market that we see right now, lots of people are out there looking for work in all areas, not just in the restaurant business, right?
Yes. We've had the busiest December we've seen in probably a decade.
Good.
So that's hopeful.
Yes, absolutely.
I love to hear that.
Right. So typically the end of the year for us is quite slow because employers want to just get through the holidays with as little stress as possible. And, many times there's a year-end bonus that people want to stick around. They've worked all year to earn that. So usually January is the time we see things starting to pick up.
Right.
But December's been amazing. So that means I'm working on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Goodness. Well, I guess that's a little bit of good and a little bit of bad, huh?
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in the industry and wanting to land a top job, Cindy's willing to take your call. If you have try to make it a little general, the question, so it applies to many of the listeners. But now's your chance to get a job-related question answered by one of the top people in the industry, finding really, really lucrative positions throughout the Bay Area. The number to call is 805-545-0332. 805-545-0332. Patty?
So, Cindy, obviously we're going to, if someone calls in, we'll get their specific answer or question that you can answer. But I'm curious, do you have some general advice for people who might be looking to improve their position? Perhaps they want to make a jump and they've been kind of waiting. Do you have some advice for people?
Well, certainly it starts with, that first phone call to us and representing yourself as a professional, having a resume that translates well. If you've jumped around and job hopped, really hard for us to represent you. And we recognize that people early in their career need to move more quickly, maybe after a year or 18 months, because they're gaining traction and learning. But once you hit a certain level, you need to stay put for a while to build credibility in your field. But a lot of getting to that next place is certainly all the things we all learned in kindergarten: speaking in complete sentences, showing up on time, dressing appropriately, and just interviewing well.
So a lot of common sense then.
Right. What's considered staying with a place for a quote unquote long time in the restaurant industry? Because I know for like a year might be, is that considered a long time for restaurants?
Only early in someone's career. So, line cooks tend to stay a year and then move on. And once they become a sous chef, then we like to see, 2 years at a position. Once they've hit the executive chef level or the general manager level, 3 years seems to be an appropriate amount of time. The people that tend to spend 10 to 12 years, those are harder people to place because potential employers feel like they might be rusty or stale or only, able to, run one specific discipline.
So there's enough time and then there's too much time.
Yeah. That's the truth.
And so if you see a lot of movement, and even if it's only over, staying with a place for longer than a year, but you still see a lot of movement in someone's resume, and it's all lateral, like they've gone from being a waiter to being a waiter to being a waiter, as opposed to, waiter, head waiter, manager, whatever it might be, I would imagine if you see a lot of movement and it's all lateral, that doesn't look good.
Well, exactly. I mean, certainly there's a lot of real life that comes into play for all of us. Mm-hmm. But we definitely want to see upward mobility in a resume. Right. People that are motivated to keep moving up the ladder.
What are some of your clients in terms of on the management side? What do they tell you they want mostly?
Dedication, professionalism. Longevity.
Mm-hmm. And where would you say are the most lucrative restaurant jobs? You primarily focus on the Bay Area, I imagine?
Well, yes, all of California, really, but most of our jobs truly are Northern California based.
So where are some of the top jobs in our state, in California?
French Laundry, I imagine. Everyone wants to work at the French Laundry in Napa, right?
Well, they do. However, typically those Michelin-starred restaurants don't pay high salaries because they have so many people wanting to be a part of that they can pay a lower salary. And it's kind of like going to culinary school and getting a stipend.
I get it, right. So
it's like a sought-after internship, sort of.
Because once you have that on your resume, look, I worked at the French Laundry, I'm naming that restaurant, but any number of top restaurants throughout the Bay Area. You have that on. You've written your ticket. You can work at just about anywhere, right?
It definitely opens doors for you that otherwise you would not see.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask, what are typically great positions, usually joining a restaurant group tends to give you stability because a lot of standalone restaurants, while people have wonderful ideas and hopes and dreams, sometimes after 3 years they close.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they don't grow. They don't add another restaurant to the collection. Typically, restaurant groups that are already established and still growing offer, some ability to get another job. You can move up within your own group.
Right. Cindy, we're going to have you hold on the line there for a second. You can talk to Cindy, get your name in front of her, which is a good first step. 805-545-0332. She places throughout the state. 805-545-0332 to get your restaurant job question answered. We are back in just a moment. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
Hi, this is Rick Moranis. You know, some people are more careful about what they feed their cars than what they feed their bodies. They know that the wrong fuel can hurt a car's performance and maybe ruin the engine. But the wrong food can have the same effect on your health. Too much fat, too many calories, and too little of what's good for you can affect how well you feel and even lead to serious illness. So eat right. It'll help you keep running smooth.
For more information, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Wayne Brady for the Will Rogers Institute.
Hey folks, I've got something that will truly revolutionize your life. It's called exercise. It will get you from here to there, allow you to spend time with your family and meet new people, cut inches from your waistline, and improve the quality of your life. Even help improve your self-image. Sexy. So when you've got to choose between moving around or lying on the couch, choose exercise. You won't be sorry.
For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. Welcome back to the final segment here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Sunday morning, 9:49 the time. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Fiburn.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning. We're just having a little discussion during the commercial break about who's bringing what to a little potluck we're having tonight, and it should be fun. Patty, I didn't realize, has some vacation time coming.
Yes, I do.
Typically, she's like out the door after the show. I've got this, this, and this.
A million things to do, and I have to get up at 1 in the morning.
Right.
But not today.
Not today. Vacation time, indeed.
Yes.
For for years, when I worked in the restaurant industry, I didn't get vacation time. It just didn't work out that way in the restaurant industry. But then when I moved into some management roles, then I started to get vacation time. And we have on the line with us today Cindy Race. She's with Foley and Fitzgerald. They are a firm that represents both potential employees and also potential employers in the restaurant industry, and the top most lucrative restaurants, and also some of the top talent out there when it comes to waiters, waitresses, sommeliers, bartenders, management, you name it, sous chefs.
I'm interested in the sommelier. Like, what goes into that? You know, like to get a great job or to have a reputation in that area. I want to ask Cindy about that.
Yes, Cindy, welcome back to the program. And did you hear Patty's question about do you place sommeliers?
We have in the past. I haven't seen many of those positions lately. I think that's a bit of an organically developing, culture.
Right.
People tend to know other people, and they seem to have their own little group. Certainly, I would say the thing that's most important in that discipline are great taste buds.
Yes.
Right.
That's a high-paying position, though. It can be.
It really can be. And certainly in California, the wine industry as a whole has just exploded over the last couple of decades.
Now, we were talking about benefits, and for some people, especially the wait staff, many wait staff positions are part-time, and the management just expects you to make the bulk of your earnings from the tips, and then go from there. You don't see a lot in the way of vacation days, sick time. You know, you're sick, you're just not making any money that day, and you get a replacement. What are the positions that do offer a level of benefits for people that might have a family?
A little more stability.
Yeah, and are considering the restaurant industry, but, want some stability?
Typically, any salaried position comes with benefits. I did just meet a client in San Francisco, a small cafe owner, this past week, and he told me that he pays health insurance for all of his full-time employees.
Wow, that is really nice.
We don't mind giving a shout out to employers local employers like that. Do you want to throw down the name of this place?
I think I better not.
Okay, because then he'll be flooded with resumes.
No, exactly. I don't know if he wants, 800 people sending him resumes, but I do see more and more employers who really do care about their staff, and honestly, it's a way to create longevity. People stay with you. You take care of them.
Yeah. Cindy, you started in the industry as a chef, right?
Actually, a dishwasher at age 14.
You know what? That was my first job, a little Italian restaurant in Novato, and I worked one night. I went in there. I was like, this is my first full-time job. I'm a dishwasher. I'm ready to go. By the end of that shift,
you were ready to go.
I was ready to go. I got home to my parents and I said, I am not going back to work there ever. And so it took me years before I went back into the restaurant industry as a busser for a restaurant here in San Luis Obispo, and then moved up to bartender and waiter and bartender
and so on
and so forth. And really had some of the best years of my life. The fun times and great money, a lot of cash. Cash flow was there. Now, so you saw things from the kitchen side. I have a good friend of mine who's a chef up in the Bay Area. That's not necessarily the easiest career, is it?
Definitely, a harder path than some other jobs. Lots of nights and weekends, and, you miss a lot of family graduations and birthday parties.
Right, because you work when everyone else has
When everyone else wants to be out.
How do you, there are so many celebrity chefs nowadays, how do you reach that celebrity status? Do you have to work for the right place? Or how do you get your name out there? Do you help assist some of the people who are chefs and you represent them? Do you help assist them get to that celebrity level?
Well, I can't say that we really do. I think a lot of that is timing and certainly hard work. And knowing some people.
Right. So, Cindy, if you don't mind, are you willing to take some questions from callers who were too shy to call in today, but might want to send you an email or such? We have your website linked to ours at eatdrinkexplore.com under our program summary for today's show. If they throw you a note during the week, is that okay?
Absolutely. I encourage it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Cindy Race with Foley and Fitzgerald, based up in the Bay Area, but they do restaurant placement throughout the state. And if you're really looking to land like a higher-end restaurant job and make it a career, this is about career restaurant people,
right?
Not a summertime job as a college student.
Yeah,
so, right. Cindy, thank you for joining us today, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Same to you both.
All right, so we only have one more show for the year. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. It's gone by so quickly.
2012 winding down. Next week is our final show for 2012, and we will speak with the group behind a new study that shows the fish you buy is not always what you think it is. DNA testing is proving a high level of fraud.
Wow.
And we're talking a high level. The number one offenders, sushi restaurants.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. It says it's tuna or whatever it might be. In some cases, it's like only 10% of the time are you getting what you think you are.
What are you getting instead? That's what I want to know.
A whole variety of things, and we'll be speaking with an expert on that.
All right, I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, coming up next week. They couldn't join us this week, but they will join us next week. The study was done in New York, but they've done similar studies here in California and found very similar numbers. The area where you with the highest probability that you're getting the right thing are national supermarket chains.
This is surprising me. This
Isn't
is all
it?
surprising me.
I know. But even with the national supermarket chains, you're not always getting what you think. So that will be an eye-opener for sure. And they're not just guessing. They use DNA to make sure.
Right. I cannot wait to hear more about this.
Then on the subject of seafood, we'll have tips for cooking seafood once you've secured a reliable source.
And I remember this is a catastrophe you had not that long ago. So this is going to be educational.
I picked the wrong fish to put on I put halibut, which is super flaky, on the grill.
After marinating it, I believe,
Wrong.
right?
Yes. Oh, boy. And then the history of the American cocktail, including some very famous drinks with roots right here in California.
And you have a long history with the American cocktail, don't you, Randall?
I'm about to create a history in just a little bit. It's all ahead on our final show of 2012. We hope you'll join us. A very Merry Christmas to everyone. We'll catch you back here next week, right before the new year. Thank you to Patty Fiber, Nicole Powers, Cora Adama, Anthony Renaro, Ricardo Teodosio, Dresden Smith, Michaela, what's your last name? Landers?
Michaela Landers.
Landers, there we go. Okay, bye everyone. Make it a great Christmas. We'll see you in a week.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.